Here with us this morning from Hospice of South Georgia. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine. And we got Bridget also. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Y'all got several activities going on at Hospice. Let's go ahead and get started with those.
All right. Excuse me. Well, the first thing we've got going on is our Camp Hope that's coming up. It's our 10th annual Camp Hope program. And Camp Hope is a bereavement camp for students in grades 1 through 12. We've had a lot of contact. We've already sent information out to families and in those school ages, and to let them know about it. Applications are available at Hospice, and as well as some of the school counselors have some, and so we would just wanted to bring to everybody's attention that this is going to be our 10th anniversary of Camp Hope. It is being held at Forest Pond Lodge, and that's over in Ludowici. It's just across the river on the left-hand side of the road, just after you pass the sand pits.
Okay. So, all right. Beautiful lodge out there on the left-hand side, heading into Ludowici. Just past the river.
It really is. And there's a lot of activities scheduled for Camp Hope. It's a bereavement camp, as I said, for students in grades 1 through 12. And it's designed to help students who have lost a family member, a loved one, to learn how to grieve appropriately. And and I always tell this, when I was a kid, I never saw my parents grieve because they did that away from the kids, so that it wouldn't upset the kids.
All right.
Well, in a lot of cases, that upsets the kids. So so it's a good opportunity. It begins on a Friday evening. They'll have registration. They're going to have a movie. They're going to have some other short activities on Friday evening. A little snack out there for them. And then the big day begins on Saturday morning, and it will be a full day of events. There's individual and group sessions. There's arts and crafts. There will be recreational activities. So it'll be a full day. At the end of the day, the parents are invited to come out and meet with the counselors and everything, and have a short discussion with them on, pretty much on what happens when we leave here today. And right. So it's a great program, a great opportunity for kids, and so hopefully this year we'll have a surprise for them. Cannot release that yet because it hasn't been confirmed, but hopefully there's going to be a nice little surprise for them out there, and we're working on it as hard as we can. But it'll be great. It'll be a good event. And
for what age groups is this again? For Camp Hope?
Students in grades 1 through 12.
All right, students grades
as long as they're in school.
Okay. And go ahead,
and
Bridget.
Every student that around the local schools should have an application already. We've put them out at all the home rooms. So if you're a parent, make sure you're looking out for that. And it gives a lot more information about it. So, they should be having one go home with them. So we're super excited about Camp Hope. That was actually the music festival that we had, the big music festival that was supporting this, which is, the Camp Hope. So we're very excited. This has been in the works for a long time. So,
and if you really want to hear what Camp Hope is all about, go to YouTube and download the Camp Hope song by Alexis Raines and Braden Ryle.
And you can also find that on our Hospice Facebook page. We do have a Facebook page. I actually shared it a few days ago, so it's a great video that they did at the music festival. The kids are just awesome, and they'll have like a big balloon release, and I know Tony Ray, our executive director, she's been planning all kinds of great activities. So I'm super excited, and I know the kids, it'll be just a great learning process and a lot of fun activities. out there at Forest Lodge. So we're excited.
Okay. And once again, if parents want their children to be part of this, what do they do?
Well, they can call hospice or stop by and pick up an application there, but all the students should have had a package that they would take home.
Okay, so just go by Hospice of South
The
Georgia on
application
Sunset
needs
Boulevard.
to be completed and turned into us by September the 21st. The Camp Hope is on September 28th and 29th. That Friday evening and Saturday all day.
Okay.
It's a fun event, but it's also a very educational and very for a lot of the staff, it's a very emotional event. So
okay.
But it is tremendous, and a lot of times I think staff get as much, if not more, out of the program as the students do. But it is designed specifically by age group. So everybody's not in one group. They break them up by age groups and age appropriate groups, so that the younger people are working with other younger people, and the older students are in their own group. And then when they have the joint sessions, it's everybody's together. But it's a lot of fun. It is really a great educational program, a great bereavement program, teaching them how to grieve appropriately. So.
Okay.
And
Go ahead, Bridget.
And also, if they don't bring the registration forms back to hospice, they can also take them to the school. The schools will give us a call, and we'll go pick them up. So either way, they can bring them to hospice, or we can go pick them up from the school, or if they need us to go pick them up, we'll do whatever it takes, because we just think it'll be a great program for these young kids.
Okay. All right.
And if families have questions, they can call us at Hospice of South Georgia. We're located at 1625 Sunset Boulevard, across from Bill Morris Park. And our phone number is 912-588-0080.
All righty. All right, let's move on to the next event that y'all have going on at Hospice of South Georgia on Sunset Boulevard in Jesup. Why don't y'all tell us about the event going on?
Well, back in April, we had scheduled our 6th annual raffle run to benefit hospice, and we had some really bad weather back in that time, and we had to postpone it, and it is now rescheduled for October the 13th. It is going to be a great ride, motorcycle ride. If you're a rider and want to have a little fun and a nice day just for a ride, I've got a fairly good route planned out, and we'll meet at registration will begin at hospice there on Sunset Boulevard at 8 o'clock in the morning. By 10 o'clock in the morning, we should have all the kickstands up and rolling down the highway. Okay. We will have an escort, front and rear. The Sheriff's Department is going to provide an escort for us in front and in rear. Nice safety precaution, and it moves things along really good. Like I said, we'll start out at hospice. The ride will end at Jesup VFW post, and we'll have lunch there. Breakfast will be a light breakfast will be available there at hospice office that morning, and then the ride ends at VFW, and lunch will be provided there.
Okay, and this is all on the 13th of October, the 6th annual 50-50 raffle run benefiting Hospice of South Georgia on Sunset Boulevard. Registration is that morning, is that correct?
Yes. At 8 a.m., yeah.
At 8 a.m. Okay. With KSU at 10 a.m. Stand up. Okay. And if you want to know more information, just call Hospice to Jim Poindexter at 588-0080 or 294-5373.
Yes. And also, we'd like to thank a couple of groups there. The motorcycle group, Freebirds, They have been a great help in helping us with this activity for years now, and but they help us with all the scheduling, and they go and look at all the because they have access to when all these other clubs have rides, and they help us with the scheduling and help us with getting the word out to everybody, and so they really benefit us a lot, and also to the Jesup VFW for being allowing us to end our ride there and have our lunch there in the main hall. So,
okay. All right, someone just texted in from Forest Pond. It says Forest Pond, because it has to do, of course, with the Camp Hope. Forest Pond Lodge welcomes students and parents and the staff at Camp Hope event. Please keep in mind that otherwise that Forest Pond is a private facility and not open to the public. All right, just letting folks know you just don't drive up there anytime and use the lodge. It's private. You got to reserve it.
Listen, they have been tremendous, allowing us to be there and have our program there. And it is a beautiful area, a beautiful facility, and they're involved when Camp Hope is there. So it is just tremendous, and we can't thank them enough for helping us in this area and being one of our big sponsors for Camp Hope,
and donating donating it to us to let us use it. So that's just amazing. We're really grateful for them.
Okay. All right. So going on to hospice is Camp Hope coming up in October, and also the 6th annual 50/50 raffle benefiting hospice also coming up in October. Just kind of letting you know in advance so you can participate.
Yeah. Well, Camp Hope comes up in September 28th and 29th.
28th and 29th, that's right.
And then a couple of weeks later, October the 13th, we will be having our 6th annual raffle run.
Okay.
To benefit hospice. And,
all right.
We can't thank the sponsors enough for all of those programs.
So if anyone has a child or knows of a child that think might benefit from this program, Camp Hope, please send them our way. We would love and I will accept any kids, like I said, the grades 1 through 12. So if you know of any kids that have lost a loved one, a parent, a sibling, and is just having maybe a difficult time coping with it, just let us know, and we'll get all the information to them. So.
Okay.
My understanding is there's going to be a lot of locals here. We may have some people from outside of Jesup riding in our program, some veterans. We've got several people from Patriot Guard that I know are going to be in the ride. So we really thank all of the riders and all of the people that have been in our program for riding for hospice in all these years. The cost is $20 for the ride for the bike and the primary rider on the bike, and the passenger is an additional $5. There will be prizes that will be raffled off once we get to the VFW for the lunch, and it's just going to be a fun day, great opportunity for everybody, and so a lot of people in the area have donated prizes for that raffle.
Okay,
so we appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about those events again.
Yes.
Bridget, good to see you this morning.
Good
Jim,
to see you.
Good to have you in, and good luck with these events and everything else going on with Hospice of South Georgia.
Well, thank you.
All right, 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country, WIFO. It says, do the children spend the night? No, they don't, right? They come in Friday, they do the activities for that evening, they go home, and they come back Saturday morning, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Someone just text that in. All right. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. We'll continue on with the world-famous Butch and Bob Show in a moment. Get yours today. The WIFO WLOP football pocket schedule. Keep up with the complete football schedules for Wayne County Yellow Jackets, Georgia Southern Eagles, University of Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, Atlanta Falcons, and Jacksonville Jaguars. The Big Dog Country and Fox Sports Radio football pocket schedules are free and are available at Jones Drugs at Jones Prescription Shop, Jesup Western Sizzlin', David's Clothing, Interstate Credit Union, Murphy's Builder Supply, Neesmith Chevy Buick GMC, and Kitchen Tune-Up located inside your Jesup Sears store. Pick up your free WIFO WLOP football pocket schedule at any of those locations. That way you'll know what's going on each and every football weekend. Your sports leaders for Southeast Georgia, Big Dog Country, WIFO 105.5 FM, and Fox Sports Radio, WLOP 1370 AM The Buzz. Bringing you exciting live play-by-play football action all season long. 105.5 FM at Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. Good morning, 15 minutes after 8 o'clock. Here on this Wednesday morning, and Bob, how's things going in your world?
Busy.
Busy? You got softball, football, news, all kinds of good stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot going on. It's a busy time of year, but it's fun. I said, tough loss yesterday's softball game, but Mackenzie Cade had a good day, 2 home runs. The volleyball team, I understand, won both their matches. Didn't get the scores, but saw somebody last night that said they won both matches, so our congrats to them. That's their first wins of the 2018 campaign. Beat both Brentford and New Presbyterian out of Hinesville.
Okay, well, sounds good. Trying to line up somebody here for Monday morning on the Butch and Bob Show, I'm sorry. But, the girls softball continue on. You mentioned the fact that the cross-country team is going to be in action soon, right?
So they're in action Saturday. Got 3 Saturday runs at Saturday. This past Saturday, this coming Saturday, and the following Saturday.
Okay, and they'll have their first home event coming up before long, and right here at the cross-country track. I guess you call it a trail. It's not really a track. It's a trail that begins there at the tennis courts, and that ought to be a good event. And now, coming up Friday on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, we've got Wayne County Commissioner Herschel Hires. Is that correct?
That's correct. Herschel's coming in Friday.
Okay. And it looks like we've got another commissioner coming in on Monday now. Ralph wants to come in, and okay. And then Ralph Hickox, another county commissioner, will be in on Monday morning. So we have the 2 opportunities here for folks to be able to hear the county commissioners talk about the budget and the millage increase and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll have Herschel Hires on Friday on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, and then also County Commissioner Ralph Hickox on next Monday's world-famous Butch and Bob Show, so people can get some more details on that. Interesting questions going on at the meetings that were held this past Monday, right?
It was interesting, that's for sure. I mean, just not a lot of answers. It's just going to be interesting to see how the vote goes. That's the $64,000 question. What's the vote going to be on Monday?
Yeah, what's it going to be? We'll find out. We'll get the last information there from Commissioner Hires on Friday, and then Commissioner Hickox on Monday. And then they'll have one more public meeting that afternoon, and then the vote that night. Is that correct?
Right. The final public hearing is at 6:30, and then the meeting set for 7 to set the millage.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And we'll have all that information for you right here on 105.5 FM in Jesup and what's going on with that. And, of course, we will have the Herschel Hires on Friday, and then Ralph Hickox on Monday. And we'll have the text lines open so folks can text in questions, and we'll be able to get more information. Do you think that anybody learned anything new at these meetings? Anybody, asked a question and something was learned? And folks, if you have questions for the commissioners, they'll be in. They got their public hearings, and they'll be here on Friday morning and on Monday morning. There's a lot of questions that Bob and I cannot answer because we don't know the answers to them.
And people are just, like I am. It's just hard to believe. It's just all of a sudden, boom, we're in this bad financial shape because, it just all of a sudden popped up. We're $7.4 million in debt. So, like he mentioned, it didn't happen overnight, but it sure got out overnight. I mean, after they came back from the retreat, that's when all the information started to leak out, and that's when rumor got out they were proposing a $5 million increase. Up until that point, like we said, for months we heard it was going to be a proposal of $3 million increase. But Ed Jeffers says the numbers are so bad they have to have a $5 million increase. But it's a 3-2 vote at the moment, and a lot of discussion, 2 public hearings, another public hearing on Monday. It's just going to be, like I said, it's anybody's guess on how the vote's going to go Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And if it goes against, is there a plan B? That's what I want to ask Herschel when he gets here Friday. You know, if they say 3 commissioners don't vote for a $5 million increase, then what's the plan? You know, is it a $4 million increase? Is it what are they going to vote in? And what's the plan? What do you do after that? Ed Jeffers is saying that the $5 million increase isn't even the fix-all answer. That's just the start of the process. So it's going to be, and I said, that's the $64,000 question right now. What's the vote going to be Monday?
Right.
So I have no idea. I wouldn't want to venture to guess what that vote's going to be. Is it going to be a 5-0 vote? Is it going to be a 3-2 vote like it was on the tentative agreement? Is it going to be a 3-2 vote against? Is it going to be 4-1? You know, who knows? I mean, there's no telling. I mean,
right. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Well, that's the reason why they have the meeting and take the vote. We'll find out. You know? And it'll be interesting to hear from the from County Commissioner Herschel Hires, Chairman of the Commission, and then Ralph Hickox, Commissioner, who's come up with a plan of action, a program work to be able to try to make sure that this doesn't happen again and we can move in the right direction. So it will be interesting to hear from these 2 Friday and then on Monday.
I think what finally came to light is how bad the lawsuit loss was. You know, they knew they lost. I mean, we knew Rainier won, but to what extent and how much money involved, legal fees, court costs, the settlement, I think that all of a sudden has come to light on how bad that was.
Yeah, and Commissioner,
how bad that decision was to fight Rainier all those years in court, which many people begged and pleaded not to do it, but nobody listens. I argue with those commissioners all the time, you know, in private discussions. I said, Rainier says it's this amount. We say it's this amount. Get the attorneys out of the room. Sit down with Rainier. Here's the middle. How far do we got to go to your side before we settle this today? Because we're not fighting with Rainier in court year after year after year after year because it was a no-win situation. But they were told differently that they could win. And I tell that story all the time when that judge from Atlanta came down and all those commissioners were up there. And their attorney stood up and started to speak, and the judge hit the gavel and said, Mr. Smith, what part of losing this case don't you understand? You've lost this case. And all the commissioners, what? We lost. We thought we won. But I think all that has come to light now, how bad we did lose.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost millions and millions of dollars. And once Rainier won, then Plum Creek jumped on board. Now you got individual landowners jumping
big timberland owners.
Everybody wants their return in what they feel they were overassessed.
Right.
So I think that is what's come, really, that's what's come to light and how bad they lost. You know, Herschel mentioned that they're not court costs and legal fees. Attorneys aren't cheap. You know, they're still paying 2 attorneys now. They got their own attorney and they're still paying Todd Carter and Brunswick, you know, trying to settle this. He said they're in mediation with all these individual landowners and they don't want to go to court because they know they lost. So instead of going to court, they're trying to mediate and come up with some kind of settlement. That's why they keep saying they're $2 million more, possibly in debt with legal fees and costs. So I think that's what's really come to light is how bad those decisions were back then to go to battle with one of your biggest employers, one of your biggest people. You know, they say it all the time, if Rainier packed up and left tomorrow, it'd be a ghost town.
You know, people that have kept up with the news over the past 8 years, you can kind of see, and from all the things that happened during the past 8 years, why we're in the position we're in right now. There's a lot of factors that went into it.
It's not just, as I said, they're
bad decisions to how many other things.
The unfunded mandates, like I said, they have no control over. We've talked about the tag situation where we used to get $20 out of $20. Now we get $1 out of $20, which is a big impact to the, you know, that's a lot of income that's lost to the county.
Right.
And why the state made that decision, no one seems to have that answer.
Well, because the former governor said, well, we don't want to have a birthday tax. So when you go get your tag now, you pay the $20, and you don't have to pay the ad valorem taxes on your vehicle, which saves. People hated to have to go down there because they had to pay anywhere, according to what the value of the vehicle was. And so that was taken away. It took away a lot of money. And then, of course, now with the tag just being $20 and $19 going to the state, that also hurts. Like I said, there's a lot of factors that's gone into this from the past 8 years. And, of course, you and I have had the privilege of, being involved with these events. We've seen it coming. We've seen also the former county administrators kick the ball down the road there to the next group of commissioners, the next administrator, former county administrators.
Well, math is math. I mean, if they know the digest is going down 10 years and you know the expenses are going up, and you sit there and tell everybody, well, we didn't raise your taxes, well, that's not good decision making. I mean, somebody's got to eventually say, we need to raise it $500,000, we need to raise it $1 million, we need to, that's what I don't understand. And you got two commissioners been on there for 20 years, and they're a big part of this problem.
Yeah.
In fact, they knew that the digest was going down, and they knew expenses were going up, but yet they want to sit there and say, oh, we lowered your millage. Well, you didn't really help us, because now, as you said, you kicked it down the road, now somebody's got to pick it up and pay up. So it's just a mess. I mean, but we didn't get it. I say we didn't get it overnight. There's a lot of factors came into it, but it came to light overnight. I mean,
after the retreat.
Last year, no one said we were $7.4 million in debt. The year before, they didn't say we were $6 million in debt. The year before that, they didn't say we were $5 million in debt. Never heard we were in bad financial shape until they came back from the retreat and says, it's just a mess.
Well, everybody tries to point fingers to this person or that person. Was it former county administrators? That's been some talked about. Was it the assessing of the property overvalued? Was that it? Was it not going up on the taxes as millage rates? As the amount of money we got in per mill went down, expenses went up as anybody's household business or anything else does. There's just a lot of factors that have gone into it, and it just seems like, all right, we pushed it, and now we got to pay the piper.
Well, another factor's got to be the fact that we haven't reassessed property in 11 years. I mean, talk to other counties. I mean, it's a 3-year process. Every 3 years they reassess property. We haven't reassessed property in one county in 11 years.
What do you think? It's because of all these lawsuits going on the timberland situation and the big industry, and because that hadn't been settled. So how do you reassess when you haven't solved your last reassessment problems?
I don't know, but that's another process that seems to be not in place, that's in place everywhere else.
Yeah, and now we don't have a tax assessor, and so what do we do? Ralph Hickok's commissioner said there's a lot of factors, but there was no plan, and that was something that he feels that needs to be done. Commissioner Ralph Hickok said the commissioners have agreed to have a plan before an increase for the vote. If it fails, we can regroup and get a plan and then vote at that time. Okay? So they do have a plan to regroup and come back again.
Well, I said they're up against it, though. They want to get the digest out on time, which they're running. The clock is ticking on that. They comment about they got the digested on time last year for the first time in 10 years. So they want to do it again, but that's why they set the tentative millage rate when they did, because the timeline's ticking. They have to get that digest to Atlanta. I think they said September 1st is the deadline. So they're coming up against it at the end of the month. I said they got the meeting on the 27th, which is this coming Monday. That gives you 4 days before September 1st.
Yeah, it says we have agreed to have a plan before an increase for the vote, or my vote. And then Ralph Hickok said there's a lot of factors that have got us where we are now, but no plan is stupid. So instead of just doing a millage increase, you got to have a plan. Somebody just texted in of our line up here that says, we need to commend Ed Jeffers for finally telling the commissioners the raw, honest truth. Do you think the commissioners have ever been told the raw, honest truth?
I don't know, but a lot of the commissioners all on record saying that they commend Ed Jeffers for, shedding light and telling them as much information they possibly can. I mean, Hickox is on record saying that he's learned more at that retreat about the county's financial situation he has since he's been on board. And Herschel Hires, I think, said the same thing. I think James Thomas said the same thing. All the years he's been on there, he's never learned as much on the financial situation as he did at the retreat. So they all commended Ed Jeffords for, having all the information, all the documentation, all the figures saying this is where we're at and this is how he plans to get us out of it. But like I said, the big thing is they keep talking about the county's got to grow. So they mentioned that, and Herschel will talk about that when he's here Friday. Like I said, all the negativity, all the we don't want this, we don't want that. And Ed Jeffords said we should have a big sign that says we're open for business. But the last 6-7 years, we haven't been open for anything. We're opposed to everything that proposed to come in. So that's another issue. But Herschel says that's reality as well.
Okay. Well, Bob, we've run out of time. This is going to be a big issue.
Herschel said he'll be here Friday. So
that's right. We got Commissioner Herschel Hires here Friday, Commissioner Ralph Hickox on Monday. Get your questions ready. Bob will have his questions ready, and they'll take the vote that night on Monday night. Bob, have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Mike Birch Ford and Blackshear, by Jesup Premium Stores located out here on the Waycross Highway, and by Murphy Builder Supply on Northeast Broad Street.